And when I had met Niranjan Swami Maharaj and Gauranga Prabhu in US, both had the same opinion about him that just as Prabhupada says, there is one sincere soul needed for a temple. One sincere soul you need. So similarly, Vanamali Pandit Prabhu, whenever I go there, I find the entire, his wife, small kid, everyone involved in the temple. He works in an IT company. Along with that, he's the president. Along with that, he does the deity worship. Along with that, he does the management. And along with that, he does preaching. And along with that, he hosts guests. Practically everything, right? With the temple and the job and the family and preaching. So he's a wonderful example of a grihastha who completely has dedicated his life for Srila Prabhupada's mission. Now His Grace Radheshah Prabhu is also involved in Boston, and wonderful preaching is about to happen. Something that ISKCON Boston was famous for in ISKCON, to produce very, very erudite, scholar like devotees and wonderful devotees who have done so much for the movement, Srila Prabhupada's movement. And now it's another part of the history. This era will become another part of the history where His Grace Radheshah, he are involved, and many devotees are about to travel and begin preaching from Boston now. So let us welcome His Grace Vanamali Pandit Prabhu amongst all of us by one time chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गोपी वल्लभ राधा गोपी वल्लभ राधे जय राधा कुंज बिहारी राधा कुंज बिहारी राधे जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की, इस्कॉन बीबीडी फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की, श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की, श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा माई की, यमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी की, श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की, हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की, समवेत भक्त वृंद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Jayate. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we'll be reading from Canto 1, chapter 15 and text number 45. The chapter entitled The Pandavas Retire Timely. I think all of us are waiting for this one to retire timely in our lives. So I think it's a very apt topic for us to actually discuss today morning. So let's read the verse. सर्वे तम अनुनिर्जग्मुर भ्रातरः कृतनिश्चयः कलिनाधर्ममित्रेण दृष्ट्वा स्पृष्ट्वा प्रजा भुवि सर्वे तम अनुनिर्जग्मुर भ्रातरः कृतनिश्चयः कलिनाधर्ममित्रेण दृष्ट्वा स्पृष्टः प्रजा भुवि सर्वे तम अनुनिर्जग्मुर भ्रातरः कृतनिश्चयः कलिनाधर्ममित्रेण दृष्ट्वा स्पृष्टः प्रजा भुवि सर्वे तम अनुनिर्जग्मुर भ्रातरः कृतनिश्चयः कलिनाधर्ममित्रेण दृष्ट्वा स्पृष्ट्वा प्रजा भुवि सर्वे तम अनुनिर्जग्मुर भ्रातरः कृतनिश्चयः कलिनाधर्ममित्रेण दृष्ट्वा स्पृष्टा प्रजा भुवि सर्वे तम अनुनिर्जग्मुर भ्रातरः कृतनिश्चयः कलिनाधर्ममित्रेण दृष्ट्वा स्पृष्टा प्रजा भुवि. Sarve, all his younger brothers, tam, him, anunirjagmuhu, left home by following the elder. Bhartaraha, brothers, kṛta-niścayāḥ, decidedly, Kalina, by the age of Kali, Adharma, principle of irreligion, Mitreṇa, by the friend, dṛṣṭvā, observing, spṛṣṭāḥ, having overtaken, prajā, all citizens, bhuvi, on the earth. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The younger brothers of Maharaj Yudhishthir observed that the age of Kali had already arrived throughout the world and that the citizens of the kingdom were already affected by irreligious practice. Therefore, they decided to follow in the footsteps of their elder brother. Purport: the younger brothers of Maharaj Yudhishthir were already obedient followers of the great emperor, and they had sufficiently been trained to know the ultimate goal of life. They therefore decidedly followed their eldest brother in rendering devotional service to Lord Sri Krishna. According to the principles of Sanatan Dharma, one must retire from family life after half the duration of life is finished and must engage himself in self-realization. But the question of engaging oneself is not always decided. Sometimes retired men are bewildered about how to engage themselves for the last days of life. Here is a decision by authorities like the Pandavas. All of them engaged themselves in favorably culturing the devotional service of the Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to Swami Sridhar, dharma, artha, kama and moksha, or fruitive activities, philosophical speculations and salvation, as conceived by several persons, are not the ultimate goal of life. They are more or less practiced by persons who have no information of the ultimate goal of life. The ultimate goal of life is already indicated by the Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita 18.64, and the Pandavas were intelligent enough to follow it without hesitation. Please repeat the translation after me. The younger brothers of Maharaj Yudhishthir observed that the age of Kali had already arrived throughout the world, and thus the citizens of the kingdom were already affected by irreligious practice. Therefore, they decided to follow in the footsteps of their elder brother. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Krishna Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. First of all, I am very grateful to His Grace Karai Thakur Prabhu. After a very long time, I am meeting him, and I am grateful to all the devotees also here for coming here and assembling in the morning for the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Prabhu had been very kind to invite me for the Bhagavatam class, and let me confess here, I am not at all qualified to give a Bhagavatam class, but however, just to render service to His Grace Sadhisham Prabhu, I have accepted this because there is something which I want to share today. So hopefully through this Srimad Bhagavatam class, I'll share. So I would like to once again express my deepest gratitude to His Grace Karai Thakur Prabhu for inviting me over here. Now, this retire topic, like if you see from this verse, as after the Pandavas, they come to know that Lord Krishna has ascended to the spiritual world, and they're seeing all the bad omens of the Kali Yuga, So then Maharaj Yudhishthira, he decided to retire. Now this is one of the Varnashram Dharma's principle, that Panchashordham Vanam Vrajeta. So after 50 years of age, when you should go to the forest. So he's following that principle here. And then his brothers, you see, they are also following the same thing as his elder brother had did it. Because they were, all of them were very devoted to Lord Krishna, and they were very devout followers of their own elder brother, who was you can say that, a religious personified himself. And in this verse, it is being described that all of them, as Maharaj Yudhishthira followed to the forest, then they also followed in his footsteps. Now, a question may arise that, to us, as it is being described, that, okay, then should we also do the same thing? That especially to those who haven't been through this brahmacharya ashram but entered into the grihastha ashram, then should we also follow the same thing as they have done, enter into the to the retired life? And is the age 50 is proper or not? And this I have been debating in my in my mind for a very, very long time, and it's still ongoing as well. See, all these principles we need to understand. I mean, at least what I understand from my knowledge and what I've heard is that these Varnasana principles, these we integrate it in our Vaishnava culture, okay, in our Vaishnava practice, so that somehow or other we get connected and we deepen our internal journey towards Lord Krishna more and more. That is why we actually adopt these principles, these Varnashram principles. Now, yes, as our inward journey, as we are trying to traverse it, and we find so many difficulties, in our present stage of life, whatever maybe ashram we might be in. Okay, everyone has their own set of difficulties as they practice it, and especially those who are in the grihastha life. Now they have added responsibilities along with along with practicing the spiritual life. They have their own their family life and their professional life. Now, since there are some more added components in their life, so they struggle in balancing those things. So it's very important for all of us, and especially those who are in the grihastha life, to balance our life, because that's how we'll be able to do things in a most efficient way. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to survive, especially in Krishna consciousness practice. And far more important for the grihastha people, those who are in the grihastha life, for them, because it's a tug of war for them. Always constant battle. Like they are pushings from they get pushings from so many different directions, and for them it becomes very difficult to actually maintain this Krishna consciousness practice. So I would like to share, because this is the instruction which Radhesham Prabhu had given me, that I should share that how I try to balance it. Of course, in no ways I am trying to pose myself to be a master in this, and I'm not a very advanced person. But whatever I have learned, whatever I have experienced, whatever I have observed, based on that I'll share some of the insights into this, and maybe some things it may strike to you, and that can help you. So I would consider that would be the success of today's talk. Now here you will see that in this verse, the Pandavas, they had already had a vision in their mind. That they had a goal in their life which is set. That is that they wanted to go to the spiritual kingdom. Yeah. So one thing is very important, that we should have the goal in our life. What exactly we want to do in our lives. Okay, that's very important, because if you are not clear about that, then it's very difficult to set a path. It's very difficult to plan, and if you don't plan, then it's it says that failing to plan, it's actually planning to fail. So we must plan our lives, and for that we should have some goal in our lives. And then once you set that goal, then it becomes difficult for us to set us the path. Okay, can go to the next. Yeah. So that's the key part in this one. So when I went to United States, I was also battling with this one, because of course I went because I had some financial crisis. So then I went to US. Now there was a debate in my mind. So what should I do? So should I just follow the corporate ladder path? Okay, enter, work very hard, be workaholic. I'm not saying that I'm irresponsible in any way, but I'm just saying that should I take up this path, or should I actually follow my the spiritual path? Because of course I had so much of inclination towards this. So what should I do? So of course I could not take either of the path directly, like 100%. So I had to take up a midway. I thought, okay, let me actually strike the balance. Neither I will actually bend towards my pendulum towards complete the corporate life, then the professional life, not towards the spiritual life. But however, I will try to balance. But in the process, what I have learned is that Krishna consciousness, okay, or the bhakti is a homogeneous life. We cannot disintegrate any part of it or see without Krishna. Okay, that's what I have learned, and that's what our teachings tells us that. And Krishna also says the same thing, that yad yad vibhutumat sattvam simat urjitam eva. So tad eva vagacchatam mama tejam sambhavam. So everything, whatever you see, because in United States everything is sparkling, everything is actually is very attractive, it's very lucrative, and it's so alluring that you are you're bound to get attracted to those things. And I was when I was in Chicago for the first time, and there were so many attractions, because it was my very initial days, and there were so many attractions. People were actually calling me to so many places, and I was thinking, my God, this is getting very difficult for me to to stay focused in my life, because when I entered, I thought that I will have a sane life, in the sense I will practice my spiritual path, and as well as I will also pursue my my professional life. But however, there were other distractions were coming on my way, and those were so lucrative. There were offerings that I can earn very fast, and so many different ways. But that would have disturbed my mind, and that's where I was. The first time I prayed to Kishore Kishori, okay, that what should I do? And then somehow by Krishna's blessings and mercy, I got into the right association. Okay, I was with Braj Mohan Prabhu, who's a brahmachari at Shri Radha Gopinath Prabhu, who was doing his PhD at UIC back then. And then, so I started living with him. Okay, then somehow mysteriously from wherever, I think there was a place in his room, and then on his own, I think he offered, would you like to join me? I said, my God, what are you asking me? This is what I was looking for, because I didn't know anyone, and I started living with him. And then from then on, I think a life had been very smoother in a way, and Krishna had protected me. He had given me a good shelter from then on. So yes, as I was saying, and as I was practicing the Krishna consciousness along with these devotees, I have understood that these all disturbances which comes, okay, they affect in a very slow way, that you won't realize that they are affecting you. It's called as a slow poisoning. Okay, when you go around. Okay, so as this, we all know that all of our devotees say that that in Srimad Bhagavatam we have a very wonderful episode of Ajamil, and Ajamil had seen once, and then you all know that what happened, he fell down, and then here we are in the present day and world, we that we have every moment such what Ajamil had seen that. Okay, yeah. So every moment we have to battle in our mind. So Ratran Divasama Yuddhache Prasanga, where this where Sant Tukaram Maharaj says that. And quite often you'll see that, like, even if you are alone, it doesn't matter what ashram you are. Like, if you are alone and if you have one small device in your hand, that's it, good enough. You don't have to, like, see all those things outside. And that is enough. Like, it can take you, like, into this into this world. Yeah. So we have to be very careful. So yes, so if we have this goal in our mind, then how we can lead our life and how we can integrate, like, the different parts of our parts and see them in proper perspective. So it's not that we can disintegrate the professional life from Krishna consciousness. So that's what I have realized, that okay, I cannot see this as a burden. I cannot see this away from Krishna consciousness. I cannot see my own family members, bringing them, maintaining them as a separate endeavor. But it is also part of my Krishna consciousness. And let me tell you that I was struggling very hard before coming to Krishna consciousness. Like, I mean, when I was about to getting introduced to Krishna consciousness, very hard. Like, I was thinking that I will shape up my family members' career, their life. This is how I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, my brother, okay, let me send him to this school, let me send him to this college. I'll shape his life, and this and my sisters. But then, as I was going through my life, I realized that, my God, I'm struggling more and more. It was very difficult, and I'm really not the controller. Okay, and I was thinking I am the controller. I'll make them. I will make their life. But I realized that no, I can't. No matter how much I do, like, that I'm really not in control. Which I've realized day by day, and then that's where I got introduced to Krishna consciousness, and then I got the real insight into that. Like, yes, like, that. It's ultimate Krishna is the control, and you have to you have to see everything in a proper perspective. That these family members, whoever you are trying to do, they bring their own karma along with them, and somehow or other you have to, like, do your duties and bring them in the fold of Krishna consciousness. So that is where I did it. I found that whatever the material solutions which I was trying to integrate to make my family members, or bring, use them in bringing happiness to my family members, I realized that is not working out. Okay, the only thing which worked out in the due course of time is bringing them in the fold of Krishna consciousness. And my mother, all my sisters, and my brother and his wife, all of them are initiated in Krishna consciousness. And they're my God brothers and God sisters, all of them. Okay, lucky. But not, I'm not saying as a matter of pride. I'm saying because that made my life much easier. Because anything which happens, everybody sees in a proper perspective. Because they know that, okay, we are creating an offense if we try to actually... if you fight with each other, okay. And even though we fight, it's not that there is none. I'm not saying we are a very ideal family as such. Like, if we do fight, it's like sometimes it's very wild also. It's okay. But then again, like, then we bow down to each other, and then we say, okay, I'm sorry. Like, and even my brother, sometimes if he gets, like, wild, okay, he says on the phone, and then again after some time another call comes, I'm sorry, I pray my obeisance, and I offer my obeisance to you. So yes, so this is how I realized that, okay, yes, so I can bring them in the fold of Krishna consciousness, and then think this is a better solutions. So that helped me, and same thing with the professional life also. So as I was saying, that I was battling in my life what to do, and it was a very decisive moment, because I had to decide in my life what I have to do. Because I need to survive at that time in United States, okay? Because if I'm not able to be there for what goals I had in my life, the financial goals, then I may not be able to, like, achieve those. And for that, I have to do a proper job at my work. At least I have to retain my job. Okay, that's one. So I should not get any pink slip and any time, and I have to remain in the status, and then I have to continue living there. So that was one goal which I had meant. So I said, okay, this is what I have to do. That's fine. But at the same time, I also have to practice the Krishna consciousness. So what I did that, whatever is necessary for this one, so I maintained that. And my Krishna consciousness practice, whatever, I strengthen that. Okay, I try to spend more time there. So whatever is required, I did for this one, and whatever the Krishna consciousness practice was, which I thought that was very important at that time. Because one thing I realized that, so this was the only time which I had in my life. Because I'm young, but that time I was young. I want to say, no, I'm not more young. But I was young at that time. I said, I have only few years in my life, okay, at my stake. And this is the time, if I don't use this in strengthening my practice, then perhaps I might lose the boat. So I decided, let me actually put all my efforts into this and let me dedicate. But at the same time, let me tell you that I was not irresponsible at my work. Okay, I was still doing my work. Even though there was an inner calling that I should do this, but no, I never. Even now also I comes, but I know that the practical reality that it is not. You have to, that you have some responsibilities to take care. So you must, do those duties. So I was working along them. While I was doing this thing, one thing which struck me, that Srila Prabhupada's very important statement, which he says that if you are well in your spiritual practice, okay, material well-being follows like a shadow. Okay, and it's true, and I'm telling you from my own experience. 18 years I'm there. Many the financial crisis had come up and down. Okay, many layoffs had happened, and I'm surviving. Okay, Krishna had been so kind. That is what I'm saying. At the same time, there are so many difficulties. You see what happens. There are, you have family, other things, and so many. Life is very dynamic. You can't keep any of your plans, some like a cookie cutter. Oh, fine, this is the plan, and I'll keep it on a cruise control. That's it. Once I plan, and I'll just set this plan all the time. No, it's like you have. In the United States, you have a car. You put it on cruise control. Okay, once you're on highway, and that 80 speeds, and that's it. Let it go on 80 speed. Okay, no, there will be some traffic. You have to take some turns. You have to change the lanes. So you'll be there, and sometimes there are some some big trucks. So you have to slow your speed. So you have to maneuver your path. So as the life is dynamic, you also have to change your plans accordingly. It's like you have to reassess the things. You have to change your plans. So it's not that while I was doing this, not that I did not fail. I did fail many times. Very miserably sometimes. Okay, but at the same time, I kept on endeavoring. I changed myself wherever it is required. Took the help of whoever devotees I had. I made very big blunders as well. In the dealings with many people, in the dealings with the devotees. Yeah, so many, even in my own life also, in different phases and at different times, there are certain, you can say, roadblocks, or I had certain failures. But those actually enriched my experience, and they gave me stronger conviction that Krishna is the only, that He is the only shelter for us. Actually, that brought me more closer to Krishna in a way. Okay, that no matter how much I endeavor, my God, you think that you're smarter, you think that you are actually very stronger, and you can actually get this thing done. But I realized that no, the only shelter is the Krishna. He is the only caretaker, and he is the ultimate controller. Okay, that's what I have realized. So, Prabhu, can we move on? Yeah. Prabhu, sorry, let's take us back. Yeah. So, one thing while I was doing this, okay, and even if you have to retire, okay, so what you have to have things in perspective. Okay, so for that thing, how you have the entire life has to be planned properly. Then you will be able to even retire. Otherwise, just randomly, okay, fine. 50 years, I've now, my age is 50 years now, I should retire. No, that doesn't work out. There has to be every individual is different, and everybody's situation is different, and so that's why we have to we have to work accordingly. So here one very important thing, and I know each one of you, I think we have exalted personalities, they will also agree to this one, that since we have to practice Krishna consciousness, and Krishna consciousness is not like a 100-meter run, it's actually a marathon. So what we need is that our body and our mind has to be strong. Okay, so we should have a healthy body, and the mind has to be very sound. It's very, very important. If we don't have that, then we will have a very difficulty. Think about it, that you want to do some service, but your body doesn't allow you. Okay, then even though you have a desire, but your body has some limitations, and that's where you'll find that that, oh my God, I'm not able to do certain things. And there are in Krishna consciousness, there are plethora of services, and in fact there are so many services where there is so much of need, and and we really feel that, my God, we should go and help them. If you see around, you'll see that there is so many places where there is a need. So we should go and help them, or we should try to see how we can actually make some change. Okay, what actually made me going in this Krishna consciousness was take up some responsibilities. That when I went there, I realized that I was finding very difficult in getting some association, because to keep my own Krishna consciousness practice, we need to have some system there, and there is a lack of system there. Whereas here there is such a very strong support system. You can see that our dear Prabhu, he came here from Radha Kunjbihari, and wherever he has gone and whatever he has touched, he made that gold. And here he came here and he made it, you can see that such a beautiful place where, and such a strong support system he has created it. Okay, and in India we have this ability and this facility where we can create that. But in US the culture is different. It's a different country, so there the whole system is a little difficult. So there also there is difficulty to create something. So what I thought that, okay, instead of actually and also we all know that sometimes the administration is there, so then we find some difficulty in actually dealing with them. So I realized that rather than actually cribbing, complaining, let me be part of the solution. So I started working with the management such a way that somehow try to create some change, whatever way we can. And that made me to take some responsibilities in this direction, so that okay, fine, that's right, there is not, so why can't we create it? Okay, why can't we actually do something about it, rather than saying, okay, this is not there, that is not there. Let's try to do something about it. If you can, you may fail, that's fine, it's okay, you tried at least. Okay, so that's why we said, okay, let us try to do something for this one. So yes, so as I was taking this responsibilities, so I realized that we need to have a healthy body. So of course, as I was exercising a lot in those days, even before coming to Krishna consciousness, and I continued that practice in further, because it was required that I need to have a very healthy body. I'm not saying we should not that you should get overboard with that. Just do whatever is necessary and whatever you can do it. But at least we need to have some exercise. We must do it. It's very important that we must maintain that. Now in the later part of life now, it has got little disconnected, in the sense it's got little shattered. But I'm trying to again put it back together. But I have done it for almost 18 years. 18 years I have been doing exercise, and from experience I'm telling you, it really works, and it really helps you. I realize that. There are times where I have been 18 years, 18 hours I was doing whatever, different kinds of things, and not for 1 year, for many years I could do it. But how could I do it? It's because just somehow Krishna gave me that, okay, I should have a healthy body, and I maintained that. The rest, I think I've seen even some of the very exalted brahmacharis, they also do some exercise a little bit. I watched closely Gautam Prabhu also, so he also does yoga and pranayam. I've lived with him also, so I've done that. So at least something we should integrate in our practice. So that way we can keep going with whatever we have. We may not realize now, but in the due course of time later, as we actually, as years adds to our life, then later we will realize that, when our different parts of body starts speaking to us, we will realize that, okay, so that's why it's always good to have, a good exercise. And then the healthy mind, because if you do not have the mind strong, then it is very, 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 very difficult for us, to keep our practice strong, because then mind may be, body may be healthy, but our mind may be giving us so much of trouble. So we have to make sure that, yes, our mind is very strong. Why we have to, for that, your mind, to make your mind strong, definitely what you need to do, you have to nurture your mind through spiritual philosophy. Listen to more lectures, hear, read more things. It's very important. As you digest more, you will get a spiritual conviction. So that in difficult times, whatever practice we have, we will not actually give them up. Okay, that's what it is needed for that. That's where we need, because there are so many situations, so many times. There may not be some people around, but still we will be going through that, through that dilemma, and that's where our spiritual conviction comes into this. Okay, this is not. I'm not supposed to do these things, even if I'm not supposed to. As you step out here now, everywhere you'll see that every moment now, since we have a small handheld device, as we are traveling, there is no one, and we are at the back seat, and the handheld device, it's good enough. Your mind may fall short, and then you enter into the you may give in to some of your pushings of your mind, and that becomes very difficult for you. So that's why, when we have a spiritual conviction, no, that's it, and then it is that helps us. Sometimes we think that, let me do it once, it's okay, fine. So in Marathi they say, "Mhatari mela to dukkhane pan kaal sokavto." So that's it. So it's a one time, not one time. But then what happens? It's so you get into that. That's why. So there is a famous this play which is written in the Marathi, Ekas Pyala. Okay, that's not so much. So it's not. So that's why. So avoid once, avoid first time, then all the time. Okay, that's why. These are things that's very important for us. So let's not do it. For this one, we should have a very strong spiritual conviction, and that's why we need to have the mind very strong. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, pramati balvadrunam, with Krishna says. Tasyam nigram manne vayuriva sudushkaram. It's very tough and difficult. I know it's very easy to sit here and say this. I'm telling you, it's very easy. But I think when I find myself also, I also fall short, and sometimes. But then it's not that that how many times we fail. It's that how many times we rise, that is more important. Okay. So as we fall, we have to take help of that same earth to rise up again. But it's important, and we must. See, we do not have to be very. As there's a say that it's a very restrictive or suppressive, or you can say that very strict, and we can lead a very strict life. We can live a submissive life, or there is another way where we can be actually empathetic towards ourselves, where it's blend of both. Okay. Otherwise, what will happen if you are strict to yourself? If once you fall, you might actually get into depression. My God, I have done this once and for all, and then we have cases also like that. People, then they get into depression, and then they eventually they fall out of the practice. So we do not want to do that. Also, we have to be empathetic towards us. Yeah, that's fine. It has happened. But at the same time, we do not have to be submissive to that also. Then we have to be strict. Okay, fine, this I have done, so I should not be doing this one. Take help of the devotees, and then and try to correct that behavior as much as possible. Yeah. So these are two very important factors which I mentioned, that healthy body and sound mind is very important. That let's go. And then this is one of the famous things which you might have already heard many times, and I know that there are many managers here, and they might know these very principles very well. It's all, and this might have been ingrained in their, yeah, in their culture itself. So it's a very, illustrative. I can say that the story here, that once one teacher came in the class, he brought some pebbles, some stones and some sand, and he had a jar, and he asked all the students, why didn't you actually put this in a jar? So everybody tried different combinations. So, but then what happened is that they could not succeed, because the jar is small, and when you put the sand first or pebbles first, then it doesn't work out that way. So what you have to do, the sequence has to be, what should be the sequence? If you have 3 items, what should be the sequence? Rocks first, and then the pebbles, and then this one. Yes, exactly. So you need to do that. So now you know what exactly has to be the sequence. So what does this rock represents? The stones, yeah. The most important work, yes. So what are the most important work for us? Yes, the spiritual practice, the entire sadhana for us. So, and it has to be done at the right time. So the priorities has to be set in our lives. Okay, so these priorities must be set. So we know that these are the things what we have to do. So we should have this priorities set. Okay, because if we don't do those things at the right time, if you don't, then we will have very difficulty in our own lives, especially those who are working. Like you'll see that, if you don't chant in the morning, then I think what happens, we drag that in the later day. It becomes very difficult. Okay, it's very, very, very difficult. So you have to prioritize certain things in your life. This is what I am supposed to do. Okay, these are the. I'm not saying that this happens all the time. There could be some times where we might find it very difficult. For instance, to give an example, because I live in the temple, then what happens is that if there is some festival, you end up being on the altar for almost up to 8-9 o'clock, and then after that, what you have to do, you have to get onto the work. And then you started working, you might end up up to 5-6 o'clock, and then again in the evening there is a festival, and then you end up doing all then where is the chanting, time for the chanting, and you have supposed to do that. Okay, so, and then that's where you have to set your priorities, even at the work also. Even at the work. So what you have to do, since I'm just talking, so I can, so there are, I'll tell you this one, how I do that when we actually go to the next slide. This all of you know, but I'll just share that a little later. So these pebbles are those things which are which are which are important, but they are not that urgent. They are not high priority tasks. Okay, and the sand are those things which can be done little later in your lives. So you must you know all the activities, you know all the things in your life. So you prioritize them accordingly. Then it is very easy to address those things. Okay. Yeah, that's how. Otherwise, you just, as they come, you try to address, then it becomes very tough and difficult. It is not. I'll just give an example. We had a Rumpad Maharaj class. Okay, Maharaj came once to the class, and he used to give a talk. And while he was coming, when he sat, and we started arranging the microphone, we started putting the gases, and we started arranging all these things. Maharaj said that, my God, at ISKCON Boston, everything is dynamic. So in other words, we should have planned that ahead of time. Okay, it's coming, so we have to make these arrangements. I hope you understand that. What I'm trying to say is that you anticipate certain things, you plan. Okay, it's coming. You should have these things, so we should make these arrangements. So all this thing, it's not running. Everything should not be in crisis. It's not firefighting all the time. Okay, done. Oh, it's coming. When it comes, that time you should have to do. Plan things at the right time. Then everything will be normal. Otherwise, what happens? It's so difficult. Then you become very irritative. That time. Because as things doesn't work, then what happens is that your relationship is also sour. Because irritation means with others dealings while you do that, and after you do that, because while you do that, anyway you're firefighting, you make mistakes, and then if things doesn't go right, then you have that the tension you have, you feel that I'm done so wrong, and then you feel very very morose. And then that reflects in your actions and in your talk, and that actually goes on to the in dealings with our devotees or with others. So we have to make sure that it's not always the crisis handling that we give ourselves sometimes. Prabhu, can you go? Yeah. So these are the things. This is Radhashyam Prabhu who gives the talk, because when he first time he came, he asked me, okay, you tell me what you do. He first he put the chart. He asked me, okay, you put this. Tell me what are the activities where you do. I had to tell him, okay, Prabhu, this. No, you should be doing in the second quadrant. This is the quadrant where you should be there. Like, plan the things ahead of time. Okay, don't do all this crisis management every time, because that's what it is there. So here you have ample of resources. Where for many things, you have like 100 devotees to come. They come forward. There it is not like that. Like, there probably you might end up doing everything. Like, you might being on the altar, you might doing arti, you might going in the kitchen, doing cooking and offering again doing arti. So you might be doing that. Okay, it's the reason why I'm saying, because I've done all these things. Okay, so certain times comes that. But I think that's why I was saying that if you have a healthy body, then you are able to do these things. And if you plan properly this one, then it helps. So when you have these things, this quadrant very properly set, then it helps you. Now I'll explain to you. So in the second quadrant, then you have this planning properly. So you plan certain things ahead of time. Then it helps you. Like, you don't have to do the things at the crisis moment. But yes, since our Krishna consciousness, like, our organization, our practice is such that, like, there are quite often you will find you will end up in those situations. But if you plan those situations also ahead of time, then like things makes much easier. Otherwise, what will happen? Like, life will be very miserable, like very, very miserable, especially if you're working. Okay, because since you have a demand, like professional demands, like there are meetings and you have to do the meetings, and you have to achieve certain goals. And there are certain times you have to give some reports. You have to, like, achieve whatever. Like, I don't know. You have some release. You have this. So you have some like constant demands there. You have to reach some goals. There are some targets given at us. So, and you have to meet that. And at the same time, there is a demand at in our spiritual practice. Okay, this is what is there. Okay, since you have taken responsibility or whatever the responsibility which we have taken voluntarily. Okay, there we have this one. So, what do you do in those days? So, and then while you're doing certain things, there are some certain things which comes up. For instance, like, let's say, like, so I have decided what I thought that when I moved into the temple. Okay, up to 9 o'clock, I won't touch my laptop. Okay, after that, then I'll see all my emails and start responding. I mean, I did this for some time, but then what happened? My work started. My meeting started from 8 o'clock. Then I had to reduce to 8 o'clock. But up until that point, I decided, okay, no. Nothing, not touching until 8 o'clock. Okay, my work. After 8 o'clock, I'll attend all those things. No interruptions. Even if anything comes, okay, I'll see whether it's urgent or not. Then I can actually delay it later to the later time. So that way, then you can address those issues, those activities. And there are some trivial time wasters, because when you don't have any work, okay, so then we think that, okay, let me watch something, or let me do something else, like, something which is not fruitful to us, to our own personal life, and not to our Krishna consciousness. But generally, we succumb to those fourth category as well, also, when we have good enough time. That's why always the mantra is that keep yourself very busy, so busy that you don't find into fourth quadrant. Okay, it is said that, like, if you want to get things done, then you should give it to the busy person. Okay, so he will do it very though it's busy, because then he'll get things done. So that's why, yeah, and that's how I realized what made me to take this responsibility is that I thought, okay, if I keep myself more and more busy, okay, it is better that, like, I can at least juggle all my times. Otherwise, if I had good enough time, I'll waste my time here and there. So, what's the point in doing that? So I would rather keep myself more and more busy. I know it will be tough, it will be difficult. Yes, it is not. Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy. So why rather than that, why can't I myself keep more busy by taking more responsibility? And that way, then I can just work around. And not that I have understood the art of balancing. It just this is a constant working. You have to keep on working on that. Like, keep changing. You'll fail again. Work this way. Work that way. Keep on adjusting yourselves. So as I was explaining this one, I was telling you that what I would say that now if my chanting remains, let's say, like, there is a festival up to 9 o'clock, you didn't do chanting, and then you have to work starting from 9 to 6. You have to work. So what do you do? So in the work also, you find out that what are the things which needs immediate attention. So that those things, what are the things which you can delay it later, maybe to the next day, or maybe to the evenings, or maybe to the night. Okay, that. Okay, you can do. See, one thing that I think being in US, I think here also, I think most of them, you have a slider. Slider in the sense it can move around. Certain works can be pushed to the later time. So it's okay, you can do that. But our certain practices are supposed to be done during the daytime. It's always good to that. Otherwise, it becomes so tough. That's why. So what you use a slider, and if you have liberty, then you move to the little later time. So that rather than doing chanting late at night, you do, say, sending an email late at night. Okay? So that way. So you push certain things. And even certain emails or certain things, it can be done later also, that's fine. Because at the work also, it's okay. So it's nothing that, nothing that, it has to be very urgent. You can sense it. After you working for so long, you understand certain things that, what would be the most important things. This has to be done now. You understand it by one. Okay, you will be the only judge of your own self, of what or work you're doing it. You know that, okay, this is what it is needed. Okay, this said. So you can make the proper judgment and then do that things accordingly, and then push around and then accommodate your chanting out there. I'm not saying you're irresponsible. Please don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm not saying that since you're not working during the work times. No. It's like if you have a flexibility of work, then you adjust like this. And I do have that flexibility. By Krishna's blessings, I do have that. And I think most of the people in the IT field, they have that. If you have a deadline, even while I was doing let's say if you have been given some work, they only used to, from the beginning itself, I told my this is what I adopted. I told my manager, don't ask me, and during while I'm giving, once you give me a target, don't ask me in between. Okay, give me the deadline, and at that deadline, I'll give it to you. If I don't give it to you, then you ask me. And that's what I maintained it. Because then it was easy for me. Because what happened is that I could finish my work properly, and then the rest of the time I can use it for my Krishna consciousness. That's what I did it. So that's, and it depends on and that particular individual, how that. And you can use your sense, use your intelligence, how to do that, deal with those things. There are many ways, there are some other ways, the smart ways also, but this is just one of the things which I can think of right now, which I can tell openly and publicly. Yes, yeah. So if you have this proper this quadrant is defined, Prabhu, can we move to yeah? So as it is mentioned, there's nothing new which I'm telling it. Most of you might know this. So the first thing is that's why, and in the beginning of my services, I found myself that I was doing a lot of management. Okay, fortunately I have very good well-wishers. I have Srila Prabhupada disciples and the GBCs who constantly have a watch on me, and they tell me, okay, lot of management, lot of this, so reduce this crisis management. They tell you focus. You have to be in the always be in the second quadrant. Make planning, do these things. And I always think that I thought that okay, I can do this very much better. Okay, others cannot do it. So I used to go and do all those things. For instance, on the festivals, when you have certain things, maybe on the altar, no, I can dress them. I can dress the deities properly. Today is a very nice day, and it's the deity should look nice. So I used to go on the altar and do 4 or 5 hours. No, give opportunity to others. That's fine. They can do it. How will they learn then? Otherwise. Okay, how they can actually get to the stage where we are right now. Okay, or maybe we might be thinking out of pride that that we are the best dressers. No, just one of the examples. So give opportunity to others so that others can do it in this way. So learn to delegate certain things. Okay, and learn rather than that, delegate in the sense give opportunity to others to grow. And this we should learn. And also, do not hesitate. Do not feel shy to take help of other people. And this is very important for us to actually understand, because most of us, we feel that how will I be able to talk to them, tell them about this one. Okay, no, if you're actually shy, you'll deprive yourself from building relationship with those devotees, and at the same time, you'll be stressing yourself. Don't feel hesitant. There'll be always an opportunity, a time where you will have time to reciprocate that with others. take help of others, and then reciprocate at the later time with them. That way, dadati pratigranati grujyam akhyati prachyati. So these are the things which are required. Isn't this? These are the 6 loving exchanges which we have to do. So we have to engage ourselves in those things. And that way then we'll be able to actually establish very good relationships with them. And at the same time, we'll be able to accomplish certain things. And we do not overstress ourselves with certain things. Take help. And especially in US, that's what we learned. We have to, we must need. Because I had one previous temple, this president, that's where I learned from him. I saw that, my God, this is what he's doing. Okay, he had few children, and what he was doing is trying to take help. And I was thinking, why is he calling us? But I realized that no, actually it's too good. He's not able to do certain things. He's taking help. It's good. It's our duty. And it's one way. Krishna, he likes this when we help our devotees. And we have to do it as a part of a service also. Okay, so don't hesitate to actually take help. And Prabhu, I do not know how much time I would have, because I would also like to speak about ISKCON Boston also. I don't know how many of you are in rush to go. Yeah, because I would also like to say something about ISKCON Boston. So that one, because since I'm talking about this, after this I'll also say, give me few more minutes. I'll discuss about ISKCON Boston, because that's most important part of today's talk, and I think you will be very excited and also very happy to know about that. I'll share with that. So yes, Prabhu, let's move to the next one. Yes. So life is like a fulcrum, tarazu. Make sure that you have balance everything. Yes. I'm saying it's easy to say here, easy to pose myself to be a master, but no, it's very tough and difficult to balance. When I go my home now, my wife will start fighting with me, because what, you are not there, 10 o'clock, we are supposed to go here, and happens. I'm saying, yeah, it's not that it's constant. My son will also say, what, Dad, you did not come? Okay, what is that? We were supposed to go here. This and it's there. Yes, those are there. Yes, yeah. You have to. So yes, you have to do that. So constantly you have to manage. You have to deal with them, practice them. Make sure you plan them properly, so that these things do not happen. So there is a balance. It's a fulcrum. Make sure that we have enough Krishna consciousness activities, so that we do not get attracted to this material allurement. That's why, as I said, absorb yourself, inundate yourself with as much Krishna consciousness activities, so that this material, if you have a fear that you might get you might fall prey to this material attractions, then immerse yourself as much as possible in the spiritual activities. So that's the best key. Yeah. So, Prabhu, yes. Let's go to the next slide. So, having said this, so these are the things so balance. So last thing, what is needed, as I already said, is that. So I think many of you are very managers, and you are more experienced than me. One thing which is required, in the Scrum technology which is used, is that the feedback loop. The feedback loop and then adaptation. That is very important. Okay, as you do this, this part is very important. So we have very exalted Vaishnavas, we should take their help. And see, ISKCON is an organization where we are blessed with such a very exalted souls. So we should take their help. Go to them, seek their advice. Okay. Sometimes we feel that they will tell me the same thing, what I know. But no, it's not because by telling, they might tell the same thing, but through their telling, we get their divine blessings through that. It's always good. Because you might think you are telling to them, but you are telling actually to Krishna. Okay, and then Krishna's intervention actually happens to them. Okay, we might not think, we might not realize that, but that's exactly what happens. Okay, just sometimes you might know you are so overwhelmed with the emotions. Just you need some how do you vent? Okay, so you go and talk to them, and then you feel better. Oh my God, isn't it? So that's the same thing. You have something, talk to them. But at the same time, you have to make sure that whom you confide with. Okay, because there is one thing that's some people might have difficulty in finding a person who can confide with. So find somebody who keeps the things confidential. So that's one thing which you can you know yourself, and you know the other people whom you surround with, and you know the authorities. Okay, yes, yeah. So here we are. So all these things I learned while I was rendering the service to the beloved deities, Shri Radha Gopi Vallabha. I think my services to Shri Radha Gopi Vallabha actually went through Shri Radha Kunj Bihari, because they actually made me to go and render my services to Shri Radha Gopi Vallabha. These are the, you can see that their feet, Shri Radha Gopi Vallabha's feet, please. Yeah. Can you move to the next one, please? Yeah. This is a building from outside. It's not very attractive, not very big, okay? And this picture has been taken during the winter time, so that's why you won't see much. There's no garden as such. But one thing, what are you noticing here? Anyone? Yeah, correct. Yeah, so there is one thing, there is a Srila Prabhupada, this statue is there at the outside. Okay. This statue, the counterpart of this statue is in Kolkata, and I just visited there. Okay, the one is which Srila Prabhupada is boarding the cargo ship. Okay, that's the flight. If anybody has visited Kolkata, that's outside there. And then the other counterpart is with us. Okay, this is where Srila Prabhupada is actually getting down from the Jaladuta cargo ship. So to commemorate that 50th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada, so we got this, and this one was there in the with the customs office, and I had to somehow I got this service, so I had to fight with them at least for 2 weeks to get out of it, get out of the custom, and to get this thing, 10 people were needed, and to get into the truck, and then after that also it's a big story. Anyway, to cut short that, and then also to get it installed outside on the street, it took us like 2 to 3 years to fight with the city. Yeah, and after that, let me tell you this one as a part of an honor, that this is the only Indian body statue in the entire city of Boston. Okay, Srila Prabhupada's this statue. There is nowhere. You go around, you see everywhere there are all Westerners. This is the only thing. And it's not surprising that everybody who walks it, they stops at they read it and they look at Srila Prabhupada. And you can imagine how much blessings they would be getting it. Okay, and that's what it happens. It's no wonder that that Srila Prabhupada's these things, it attracts so many people. So yes, so this is our outside temple. When you go inside, and of course we have plans to beautify it. Okay, these are our wonderful deities, Shri Radha Gopi Vallabha, and this is our altar. Yeah, please go ahead. Okay, let me explain to you the story of Shri Radha Gopi Vallabha. What had happened? Which is the first temple in the United States when Srila Prabhupada established? New York, 26th Avenue. Okay, that was the first thing. Then after that, which one? When San Francisco, when Mukund Goswami went, and Srila Prabhupada said, okay, get down here and then install, and they build a temple, so San Francisco. And then the third one? No. Any other answers? Third one was not in the United States. Third one was in Montreal. It was in Montreal. So this, and then the fourth one was in Boston. Okay, because that time, now in another way, in the United States, in the third temple is Boston. So it was in 1968, Srila Prabhupada asked His Holiness Satsvarup Das Goswami that you go to Boston and you open up a center there. So he came. He was working a working man. So we have a legendary personalities in our own Krishna consciousness movement. And we can learn from them. He was working, and then while working, he opened up a center. He used all the money to actually buy a storefront, to rent a storefront. And that storefront was at 95 Glenville Avenue in Allston. We got it. And he brought Srila Prabhupada 2 times there. Srila Prabhupada came 2 times when in the small storefront. And he lived there. And there are so many things which you'll see. So when Srila Prabhupada came, of course you all know that before that Srila Prabhupada came to Boston, on his journey from Kolkata, from 13th July, so he traveled from there, okay, and then landed at Boston Harbor, September 17th, 1965, at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, he landed there. And then you all know that he stepped outside. He, along with Captain Pandya, he went he walked on the streets of Boston. Okay. So this particular moment, is it by chance which has happened? Definitely not. See, such a pure devotee, he cannot he cannot land at Boston just by chance. Because Krishna has made that arrangement. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. So when such a pure devotee has landed, so this place is a holy place. So indeed this is a pilgrimage place. So Boston is a one way, and Srila Prabhupada actually walked in that place. So that's all. And then there, when Srila Prabhupada came next time, so devotees took a pictures of where Srila Prabhupada was walking on the Commonwealth Pier. And then he saw that unalloyed, as you know, there was unalloyed steel, one big board there. And Srila Prabhupada there, our movement is also unalloyed. And in this sense, we have unalloyed devotion. And that's why the unalloyed word was coined there. And then later on, Srila Prabhupada came. And then after coming 2 times here to Boston, then there was a right time to have a deities at Boston. But they didn't have any deities. So I'll cut short the stories. So there was one donor, Palmer, he gave deities, 3 sets of deities to Srila Prabhupada, which were casted in the same mold. So one set of deities, Srila Prabhupada kept it to himself, and he installed in Mayapur. And those deities are Radha Madhav. Just one word we have to add, Chota Radha Madhav. It was. Okay, those are Chota Radha Madhav. So when the big Radha Madhav were not there, those were the deities which were there. And the second set of deities, Srila Prabhupada gave it to Berkeley. And the third set of deities is with us. And so it was shipped up. And they went on to become Shishya Radha Gopalabha. It was shipped. So Rukmini Mataji, the mother of Gauravani Prabhu, she went to the airport to get those deities. She got it, but they didn't know how to install. So it was there at the temple. Then Srila Prabhupada came in 1971. So after that, they moved from storefront. They bought a place at 40 Beacon Street, North Beacon Street. So where they had a temple, and Srila Prabhupada came. I believe at June 20th, 1971, Srila Prabhupada came. So he came. Next day in the morning, he gave initiations, and noontime he started the installation procedure. And you'll be amazed to know that, I don't know those who are pujaris, or if you have seen the actual Abhishek, you see that they have used the ladle. You understand the spoon to actually do the Abhishek. The spoon to pour the liquids on Gopi Vallabha. And it was Srila Prabhupada did that. Srila Prabhupada actually, and they have done they stitched the clothes, but the clothes were not proper. They were either tight, okay, or short, and then Srila Prabhupada had to cut them and retrofit them. And he taught them how to do this one, how to do the Shangar. He taught them in front of them. He showed them. So these are the one of the 4 deities where Srila Prabhupada has personally installed them. Okay. Don't get me wrong. Srila Prabhupada was there in the inauguration of many temples or many deities, but he has installed only 4 sets of deities, and Radha Gopalabha is one of them. So very special deities. Okay. So when a pure devotee installs them, when he invites Shri Radha Krishna in those things, definitely Lord Krishna has to come. So that's why these are very special in one way. So can you please go to the next one there? Yeah, so these are our Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharaj. These are Shri Gaurnitai. These were the deities which traveled in the Radha Damodar party. Okay, and then when they came to Boston, they gave it to us, these two set of deities, Shri Gaurnitai. Please go ahead. Yeah, and you can see the pictures. See Srila Prabhupada is guiding them. And there are one more picture, Srila Prabhupada that is actually doing them. And Srila Prabhupada is showing them. See? So these are the sets of deities. That is Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj. And he's using the ladle. Yeah. You can see that. And see all the pots which are being used there. Prabhu, please move to the next one. Yeah. And see, this was a temple where it was a fledgling temple in those days. See, this is a temple where the first Brahminical initiations happened in ISKCON organization. And this is a place in Boston, ISKCON Boston, where Srila Prabhupada got the honorific titles Srila Prabhupada, Srila and Prabhupada. This is a place where he got it. Okay, and this is a place where, of course, you see that the wedding ceremonies happened. And these are the places where you can see that, where there were the book distributions. All of us do book distributions. from where does this, the books come from? Like, what is the publications? BBD publications. So, does anyone know before BBD publications, was there any other things? Yes, it was an ISKCON press which was there. And you know where it was started? It was started at Boston, at 40 North Beacon Street there. The first time it was started. Along with the press, the printing machine, all devotees then came to Boston. So we had all, like you can see that the big personalities were there at the Boston there in those days. And it was very fledgling temple. So many devotees were there. That is the Logan Airport. And there are certain pictures. If you see Srila Prabhupada is giving the talk. See, one thing is that you might see Srimad Bhagavatam class, and you might have seen all the pictures in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Those are some paintings which I have done in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Have you noticed that? Okay. So those are paintings, those are done by whom? By some devotees. Some of them. Yeah. Many people. Pushkar, okay, Jodharani Mataji. Okay. So there are few of the other devotees who have actually done those things. And ISKCON Boston is one of the temples where we have most of the original paintings with us. Many of the original paintings, not most. And we still have, and we have all in the temples, okay, those. And we are restoring those things right now. Okay, those are very rare things which we have. Okay, yes, Prabhu. So, yeah, can you run this? Yeah, as I was saying, Srila Prabhupada actually walked on the streets of Boston. Does it have audio? Yeah. So everything is in Boston. So where you see, this is a 30 minutes long. I think it's a pretty long one. Srila Prabhupada is actually walking. He's coming to the Boston Logan Airport. He's walking on the streets of Boston. Or can we little bit forward? Forward. More. Yeah. Forward. Yeah. That was the 40 North Beacon Street. So yeah, you can see that. Yeah. That is Jodharani Mataji. She had in fact come to our temple just few years before to take all the pictures again back. Jodharani Mataji. Just couple of years before. Yeah. So escape. In the interest of time, let's escape. Go to the next slide. Go to the next one. Yeah, I mean, I can forward. You can also Google it now. You saw it like in Prabhupada in Boston. So yes. So these are the original paintings which we have. Move to the next one. Yeah. You might have seen these pictures quite often, but if you want to see the original paintings, then ISKCON Boston is a place where we have. Yeah. Please go ahead. Yeah. And this is, as you know, Srila Prabhupada landed at ISKCON Boston at Boston. At Boston Commonwealth Pier. Please go ahead. Yeah. To commemorate this festival, every year we do this one. We rent a boat. I mean, right now we haven't done this until after 2015. So 2015 was the 50th year where we had celebrated this one. We had rented a big boat, a huge giant boat, almost 1,000 capacity. Okay, we had, and at that year we had almost more than 40 to 50 sannyasis and also the Srila Prabhupada disciples. Okay, and many devotees had come up from all over North America. In fact, all over the world. So that was a big festival which we had done that. So we go into the ocean. It's an Atlantic Ocean. We go there, and we come back to the place where it's Commonwealth Pier, just to commemorate that event that Srila Prabhupada is arriving at Commonwealth Pier, and then we do the worship of that Commonwealth Pier. So that's the festival which we did. I think, some of you might have seen on the in the YouTube also. Please go. Yeah, and this is the installation of Srila Prabhupada's statue, which we did it. So that was a big victory for us against all the... We had so much of opposition from the neighbors and from the city. It was a big, I mean, as a whole story we can actually tell about the whole thing. But anyway, somehow Krishna had been so kind. We got this approval. Please go ahead, Prabhu. Yeah, and this is the Rath Yatra festival which we do at ISKCON Boston. It's an annual festival which we do on the streets of ISKCON on the Boston, where we get almost like close to 5,000 to 6,000 people. I mean, compared to other time, because since it's an open air festival, okay, we go on the streets of the Boston, and we have our own GBC here, His Holiness Niranjan Swami. Yeah, please move ahead. Yes. Yeah. Now, the reason why this is one of the most important thing why I've actually given you this entire context and the background is that, see, when Srila Prabhupada came during those time, okay, when he had come to Boston, His Holiness, he asked the devotees that arrange my meetings, okay, my programs in different colleges. So Srila Prabhupada spoke at MIT, at Harvard, at Boston University, at Brandeis University, at Northeastern University, at different universities he spoke, okay. And you know, from this, one of the universities, from Brandeis University, who came? Anyone knows? Which one of the famous sannyasi? Giriraj Maharaj. Yeah, so Giriraj Maharaj got attached, got connected to ISKCON, our ISKCON movement through that. Srila Prabhupada's preaching at universities. Okay, and this is Srila Prabhupada's desire that university preaching should happen in Boston, because Boston is exactly like Pune. It's an education hub. Okay, can you have like a wild guess how many universities would be there in Greater Boston? Just a wild guess. Okay, okay. 75, okay. Any other guess? Yeah. Around 300 universities are there. Okay, yeah. That's another. And all the top universities, you see that, like, you know, the top universities which we have, like, you know, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the top most technical institute is there. And there are 3 Ivy League schools which we have. One is Harvard, which is just at the throne's stone away from the temple, both MIT and Harvard. And then we have another Ivy League school, Dartmouth College, 50 minutes away from our temple. And then another one is in the Rhode Island. It's just 50 minutes from us. Like, you know, these are all 5 states are called as a New England area. So where our Prabhuji was staying there. So yeah, that's a Brown University. So this is the other side. And the 4th one is also we have, which is a little further, Yale, but that's also in the New England area. But so you can imagine it's a hub. It's a hub. And the number of students which comes in that in Boston is tremendous. Don't compare according to the population of what India we have. But if you want to guess how many, like, you know, how many number of students would be coming every year, just a wild guess. Okay, 30,000. Any wild guess? Yeah. That is, no, not 1 lakh, little more than that, yeah. So it's 300,000 students come. 300,000, approximately 250,000 to 300,000 students comes, because if you consider all the colleges also. So just one of the universities like Boston University, we have 30 to 60,000 students every year come. So Boston is considered as the brain of United States. Most of the influential people and we can say that highly educated people live in Boston. They come to Boston. You don't have to go to different places in the world to seek all these people. So you be there at Boston, and you can actually you get an opportunity to preach them. So they may not become quote and unquote, like, you know, the hardcore devotees like chanting 16 rounds, but they can be well-wishers as well. Okay, so that is fine. We had a 50th anniversary of ISKCON. So ISKCON had arranged a big 50th anniversary meeting in Harvard University. And it was happened at the same place where Srila Prabhupada spoke, okay, in Harvard. So it was a momentous occasion for all of us. And ISKCON Boston was one of the co-hosts for that entire festival. So we had all the academicians from all the world. They had come there. And of course they were speaking, they were actually pointing out the frailties or whatever the shortcomings of us. But we were very quietly listening, because, you know, we need to understand where we are going wrong. So I'm saying, so that's, they may not, but see, only those who are close to us, only those who are well-wishers, they can tell us where we are going wrong. That's why we can have a well-wishers also. Not necessarily we need to make them a devotees as such. So yes, that is a place which I was saying, that where you can get one place seated there, you get opportunity to preach to all these big influential personalities there. So there's a huge opportunity for all of you and all of us as well. Please go ahead. Now whatever I'm saying, now you listen from the horse's mouth now. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Okay. Prabhu. Yeah. How many minutes? We already missed. Okay, go ahead. Last minute. Okay, sorry, Prabhu. Prabhu, move ahead.
Prabhupada did when he was here. And Prabhupada even told Sadhguru Maharaj, he says, I will come for 2 months if you set up preaching programs.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
In the colleges. But to speak of the fact that our Giriraj Maharaj became, first meeting with Prabhupada was at Brandeis. He was a student at Brandeis University. He saw Prabhupada at Brandeis.
Yeah, Prabhu. In the interest of time, spot. Yeah, so this is a huge Srimad Bhagavatam talk, where one thing it was stressed was that this is Niranjan Swami telling that it was Srila Prabhupada's desire that youth preaching should happen in Boston. Okay, and that is why, and that's what been stressed by His Holiness Niranjan Swami. Then by Krishna's divine arrangement and by Srila Prabhupada's whatever desire, then a meeting was held at Vada, where His Grace Radhashyam Prabhu was called, and His Holiness Niranjan Swami, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, they were there. And at the same time, His Grace Radhashyam Prabhu had become GDO. So we know that Radhashyam Prabhu never travels to United States, and I knew that it's not going to happen. But somehow we persisted, and Krishna actually blessed us, by making this arrangement. And in that meeting, it happened that okay, you go to Boston, and then there he accepted it. And Acharya Ratna Prabhu was a witness to that. So, and then that's how he came to Boston. And our Prabhu also, I had been persisting in Prabhu, please come. Prabhu said, get His Grace Radhashyam Prabhu, then everything will fall in place. And just by saying, this is what I'm saying, when holy people say something, just by saying from their mouth when it comes, it happens. Okay, there you go. And that has happened. And there, yeah. So, please go ahead, Prabhu. Yeah, I just want to conclude now because I'm sorry, Prabhu. Kindly forgive me. Please go ahead, Prabhu. Move. Yeah. Okay. So these are different universities. Please go ahead. Go to the next one. Yeah. Okay. So this is MIT. Okay. This is just in front of us. It's hardly 10-15 minutes walk from us. This is Harvard University. This is Brown University. These are Ivy League schools. If you know IITs and IIMs, so these are of that status. But these are world renowned. This is Boston College. This is Boston University. And they're all so close to us. Northeastern, this is the first place where we have established base center. And His Grace Radhashyam, by the blessings of Radhashyam Prabhu, okay, which we did on an experiment basis. We're going to do that in our coming years more. We're going to strengthen that more. So from this university, many devotees have coming. When Radhashyam Prabhu came, can you move to the next one, Prabhu? Yeah, please. The current activities which are going, Radhashyam Prabhu came just this fall. When he came, in 1 week, and Chaitanya Charan Prabhu came just a couple of days before. In 1 week, 2 weeks of period, we had 6,000 to 7,000 students coming to the programs in the OTBs. And you would be, Prabhu, can you go to the next one? Okay, so there are students from all over the universities came. When he was giving a talk, every corner of our temple was completely packed. There were students outside in the lobby, the students on the top floor, the students outside. So everything is such a packed one. And not just one program, every program of this one, which was packed. Okay, all the programs. So there was such a huge success of this program. So right now what is happening is that we have 4 active programs, preaching sessions which are happening. Why I'm telling is that we would love to have you people there, leading such some of the programs there, so that this can inspire some of you there. Yes, this is what you can see that Radhashyam Prabhu is giving a talk. So this is from the another angle. Every corner of the room was completely packed, completely packed. And this is all the time. And this is the camp, which, like we are very famous for arranging the camps. So Radhesham Prabhu, see, he's actually serving them. This is one of the businessmen who's there at his house. We actually did this one. So this is a camp, yeah. So like this, we did many camps. Prabhu, move on. Oh, this is one of the sessions. This is at MIT. This is Parth Khandelwal. He's from IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur, who's doing his PhD at MIT now. And this is Mukundila Prabhu giving a talk, and there are some students. This is a Spurti camp at New York, which is happening. This is a drama which is happening. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Radhesham Prabhu. And this is that Commonwealth Pier where we had this program. This is some of the boys which we had there. Okay, so it's cold, we can see that. Okay, yes. And this is a voice setup. Let me tell you that we have enough beds for all of you there. They are waiting for all of you. So please come. So yes, this is our main ashram. And this is the Prasadam hall. I tell you, I promise you, if you eat Prasadam at ISKCON Boston, okay, and we have wonderful cooks. Gaurang Prabhu had sent 2 cooks from there. I know Prabhuji well. My God, you'll forget eating anywhere else. And it's true. Our devotees, they tell, like, they don't have to do anything. They have to just go class, attend the class, come back, plate is in front of them, eat them. Sometimes they said, Prabhu, I can't eat today evening. Okay, I want to skip it. This is how the students do it. Like, and all of them, belly, if you measure it, okay, it's just growing and growing. It's very nice. So much of nice prashad which we do. And we cook all fresh meals. In US, getting fresh meals is it's a big blessing. My God, I don't know if you know it. I think those who have lived there, they will know that. It's a big blessing. It's a big blessing, yeah. So go ahead, bro. Yeah. Okay, this is our study room. And yeah. Thank you, dear devotees. Okay. So this was my humble attempt to somehow inspire you, encourage you to come to Boston. Okay. I beg forgiveness at the lotus feet of His Grace Kalinādharma-mitreṇa Prabhu, that I'm not trying to steal, I'm just trying to encourage them from the devotees, that please pass it down to other devotees. And if anybody feels like, any inclination to render some services, to Srila Prabhupada, to our ISKCON organizations, to Guru and Gauranga, and to to Radhesham Prabhu, then please, you are most welcome. We'd be happy to assist you in whatever way you can. As a student, you can come. As a grahasthas, to work there. Okay. And as a brahmacharis, you are almost welcome. Haribo. Okay. Once again, I'm grateful to His Grace Kalinādharma Prabhu for giving me this opportunity to share some of the things about what is happening at ISKCON Boston, and some things what I have experienced in my practice. Okay, kindly forgive me. In no ways I was trying to express that I'm a master, or I'm such an exalted or elevated personality. No way. I have a lot of frailties. Okay, but with my broken words, I tried something to convey. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Radha Gopi Vallabh ki jai. Shri Radha Kunj Bihari ki jai. Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
English and Hindi Bhagavatam Pandit Prabhu ki jai. ISKCON Boston Yatra ki jai.